Hello, Internet, and welcome once again to the Always Online Multiplayer Gaming Podcast, brought to you by mmobomb.com, your home for all things multiplayer related. I'm your host, Mike Byrne, a.k.a. Magicman, as always. And this is episode 482. We're, of course, doing the show live, as we always do, over on twitch.tv/mmobomb. We've got chat hanging out with us. It's usually 1 p.m. Eastern. We started 10 minutes late. Because there's like another smaller stream I don't know if you know about running right now. Final Fantasy XIV's Fan Fest. And we just saw the trailer revealing the new expansion's title, Dawn Trail. Now Yoshi P taking the stage for the keynote to give a bunch of new information. Expansion coming in summer of 2024. Very, very excited. But we've got a lot of other stuff to talk about. If you're watching on YouTube, listening on Audible, any of the podcast platforms, thank you so much. Give it a like, a thumbs up, a subscribe, turn on the notifications. You know what to do to feed the algorithm. Joining me to chat some MMO fun stuff today, Mr. Troy Blackburn. What's up, Noob Fridge?
I don't know how Final Fantasy is going to get any views with this show going live.
I know, right? Hey, in the trailer, though, it appears we are going to what our character calls the New World.
The New World. Welcome.
So
welcome to the New World.
We're going to go visit a shitty game.
Hey, do me a favor when y'all come to the New World, bring your mounts.
Yeah.
Getting tired of running around there?
Yeah, my legs is tired.
And if you don't recognize that voice, it means you're not watching us on Ready Check Radio when we do those casts. God. Resident artist there at Ready Check Radio, Yad, joining us today.
What's up, everyone?
Yeah. Well, I figured we don't have a gaming gumbo tomorrow. Everybody's getting the day off, and then Troy's like out next week, I think. Is that next week, Troy?
Next week.
Next weekend. So figured, hey, we'll have you on today, and Q is off today because of Good Omens. So
yes.
Introduce yourself to the MMOBomb audience.
Hello, I am Yad. I go by Yad Artworks in a lot of places. I draw things. If you do watch any of the Ready Check Radio stuff, the graphics are done by myself.
Yeah.
And in fact, I think I did some graphics for this site as well.
Yeah, I have commissioned you for a few things over here. Well, we have a tradition here. Anytime a guest is on the show for the very first time, you get asked 2 questions, and I don't send them to you ahead of time because I don't want you thinking about them. You got to answer on the spot.
Okay.
We want to know first the video game that got you into gaming in general. Like what made this a hobby for you? What was the one?
It had to be Street Fighter.
Or like arcade or 2 for the Super Nintendo? Or
Street Fighter 2 in the arcade. Because it was one of the big things that were really happening when I was younger and going to arcades.
Yeah.
I mean, I wasn't very good at it. Mind you.
Who did you main?
I normally played Chun-Li.
Chun-Li? Yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
Freaking Chun-Li, come on.
It's freaking electric kick all day. I knew
it. Until Cammy came out. Then I gravitated towards Cammy because it's fucking Cammy. Come on now.
I mean, I can't even fault you for that one. I can't fault you for that one. So Street Fighter 2 gets you into gaming, but then second question, what MMO gets you into, wow, this is a really cool genre. I like this. This is awesome. What MMO kicked it off for you?
World of Warcraft beta.
Oh, you were part of the beta test?
I was. I wasn't necessarily personally part of it. One of my roommates had a key. But since I had the most powerful computer in the house, we ran it off my computer and we switched on and off.
Ah, so you illegally shared an account. All right.
Well, I mean, they wanted the different play styles, right? Because they're testing who does what. So I rolled up a warrior and checked it out, ran around, Azeroth, and I did not wear pants.
Of course, like why would you? Why
right.
the hell would you?
Because it's a beta. I know I'm not going into the raid or anything like that, or any high-end content. So I ran around without pants. I had other players because, naturally, being the pervy artist I am, I rolled up a female character.
Well, no.
So I had all kinds of dudes, and this was way before the nice guy memes and stuff like that. But I had all these dudes come up to me offering me pants. I'm like, I don't want those.
I don't want.
Why
pants.
are you? trying to
not-
give you this.
I'm not wearing pants in real life while I play this. Why on earth would I wear pants in
Right.
game?
Exactly.
Yeah, Yod is showing off a little knee in the camera shot there. He's showing off a little leg.
I do have shorts though.
Yeah, he's wearing pants
Yes,
today. He's
yes.
wearing pants today.
Yes. But yeah, so
Well, very cool. Welcome to the show. So glad you could do it. Thank you so much for doing it. And I figured we do have some news to cover. We actually have some more new games. Like, Troy, it feels like the last 3 shows we've had new games coming. Not just hey, Guild Wars is getting an update. New games. And we've got more today, including an update or two on some things that we've known about but haven't necessarily seen. We're going to get to all of that, but I thought, hey, you know what? I'm feeling very MMO happy right now because it's FanFest kickoff day. I knew Yod was going to be on the show, so we're going to talk about getting into MMOs back then. So I figure we'll start with just a little discussion, and then we'll circle back around to the news. So I'm going to hit the news bump, but we're not going to start with news. Here we go. Speaking of art you have done, the news bump there.
I remember that.
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Hey, that looks familiar.
That looks familiar. Yeah, so I knew we were going to be asking Yod about how he got into MMOs, and I just feel like, Troy, lately, over the past, let's say, 3 or 4 years, and maybe for some of you it's gone on a little longer. It depends on whether you have a hardcore MMO that is your MMO, or if you've just kind of been drifting for a while. There's always been this recent perception of yeah, that's a dying genre, those types of things. So I wanted to kind of look back and just talk about why we play this genre. Most of us watching this show have been playing MMOs for years. Some more than others, but for years and years across multiple games. But they all share common characteristics. So, Troy, what is it for you that just... You never really give up hope, right? You're just I'm going to like this MMO, and you found New World, and you like that, and you might be wrong, but that's okay, because you like it. But you're constantly looking forward. Will Throne and Liberty be any good? Will Blue Protocol be any good? And I don't think it's realistic to say you can recapture the days of, your very first heavy MMO, whether that was World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy XI. The genre has changed, times have changed. Even younger audiences don't have the time that we necessarily had back then. So they all have to evolve. But what is it that keeps its claws in you when it comes to MMOs?
The big open worlds, at least the ones I play, are all open world. And there's generally exploration aspects to the ones I play, like ESO. You have to explore around to find the quests. There are points of interest, things to see. New World, it's all about just running around and exploring and finding materials and things that you need. And being able to do that in a large open world with other players. And I've made friends, legit people who I consider real life friends now, through World of Warcraft, through New World, through MMOs, through even League of Legends. I've met people that I consider real life friends now, and I talk to on a daily basis.
So all of that you said can be accomplished in a single player or a co-op type game. Why then have you not just ditched the MMO train, right? These are usually expensive. Some of them lately have been disappointing. They might be slammed with a free-to-play cash up. Why do you keep saying, I'm going to come back and give that next one a shot?
I think it's just the potential of all these people coming together to sort of achieve one goal together. It's hard to do that in a co-op game. Yeah, you got a couple of friends maybe helping you out, but when 20, 30 people can come together to accomplish a goal in a game where you're competing against 20 or 30 other people who are trying to do the same thing, and you can go around bragging in the world to lots of other people, you've got something to show off or some title or some way to say, hey, I did this thing with my group of people. I think that's just a fantastic way of being able to sort of humble brag.
Or if you're Yod, you run into town with no pants on, and
Or you can just run to town with no
humble
pants
brag
on.
that way. What about you, Yod? Like, what was it about World of Warcraft or about MMOs these days that like you never quite give up taking a shot on the next one because you just like the genre?
Well, the initial draw for the beta obviously was something new.
Yeah. Oh,
Like,
yeah. At
like,
that time.
yeah,
If
yeah.
you didn't EverQuest or Ultima or Final Fantasy 11, you had no clue what World of Warcraft was about to
Right.
do.
I think the roommate that got the key for the beta, he played EverQuest and he played Dark Age of Camelot.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But so I'd watch him play that stuff, and we'd occasionally, back in the day, because there was no Wi-Fi, we'd have to get one of those switches and route the Ethernet cables all over the house. We'd do stuff like play StarCraft, Warcraft, Diablo, the occasional Medal of Honor, where you go up against people online, but the latency sucked.
Hey man, I played Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast on dial-up. I don't want to
So
hear. I don't want to hear jack about latency.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But like when I got back into it, it was more. I think I actually think the wife, girlfriend, not even girlfriend at the time. I had starting relationship, dragged me into
you hadn't
it.
like officially asked her out yet.
Oh, the relationship it was weird. Okay, beginning of relationship was weird because it revolved around conventions and doing stuff there and stuff like that. So
Moving on.
moving on. Yes. Yeah, that's not safe for this channel. We can discuss it on Gaming Gumbo later if you want.
So she got you into some stuff, and one of them happened to be MMOs.
Right. And then I find out some of the other artists and stuff like that in conventions that I go to had a guild in World of Warcraft, so we started playing together, and that was one of the main things that happened when I was really into Warcraft, was that we knew each other. There were like some people that we didn't know, like every week there was a group on our server that would get together with this one dude that I have no idea who the frick he is, but he'd announce in Ironforge, we're going to kill all the Horde leaders for anybody that needs that achievement. He just announced it. So you can just, join up, hey, I need that, hey, I need that. You can just join up and do it, and it was interesting. You did what you could, and there was a camaraderie to it. These days, it's mostly,
and I mean, it is like one of those obvious things, right? Like, what does the genre do? Well, it's massively multiplayer, right? Like, Dragon, you could go play Dragon Hunter, and Dragon Hunter? That doesn't feel right.
Monster Hunter.
Where was I getting dragon from? And just saying it, my mouth was like, those words don't go together. Like, what are you doing? But yeah, Monster Hunter. Yeah, like you can team up with a couple of friends and go do things, but it still feels very different, Troy, than teaming up with 4 or 5 people and going and running a PvE dungeon. Or teaming up with 7 people and doing a raid, even though, like, conceptually in your head, it's the same damn thing. Right? You grabbed 3 friends, you teamed up, you went out in the world of Monster Hunter, you slayed some cool things, and you got some loots, and you made some cool stuff out of it. But it slaps different, right? when you're doing it really does. In a full-blown MMO.
Yeah. I mean, the storyline, obviously, for certain ones, will attract. I guess that's what Troy sees in New World. I'm not sure.
Wait, is there story in New World?
There is now. There wasn't in the beginning. In the beginning, it was just all about the crafting.
In the beginning times.
In the beginning times.
In the before times. But Troy, you kind of, so while my personal like draw to MMOs is the whole PvE aspect, right? The dungeons, the raiding, the grouping up and with a guild and friends and stuff like that to overcome those types of things. And while you've talked about, that's a little bit of it for you, you gravitate towards a totally different type of MMO, generally speaking, than I do. Yeah, you play ESO, which is very traditionally PvE, no doubt. Mm-hmm. You've dabbled in 14. You've played World of Warcraft. You've played Ion. You've played Rift. But your preference is actually more for those not quite defined theme park MMOs, instead favoring more of a sandbox nature, your Arc Ages, your New Worlds at launch, those types of games where maybe there isn't exactly a direction for you to go in besides where you want to go in.
Yeah, and that's something actually that ESO taught me, was because I was so used to World of Warcraft and quest hubs and, go here next and go here next and go here next. And ESO sort of taught me to just hit the world, man. And it looks cool over here. Let's go over there and see what's over there. And that really got me going sort of in that genre of games. So now the sand parks are more my style. And that's one of the things I like about New World is there's some quest lines now that you can follow, but at the end of the day, there's still a ton of, hey, this looks cool over here, let's go see what's over in that direction, and there's generally something to do over there.
Did you see, by the way, speaking of theme park MMOs, that there's rumors right now that Arcade is probably closing down in the West?
Yeah, I saw that yesterday.
Yeah, we didn't report on it because it's not exactly like the firmest of rumors. If we get a little more or catch an extra source, we'll go ahead and throw it up. But that's the rumor right now, that they're having some layoffs and that the person in charge is going to just exclusively move over to Arcade 2 now. So we'll have to see. That was such a missed opportunity for fans of the type of MMO you like, Arcade. It was like so close to being right there in the wheelhouse.
They just wanted to restrict the things that the people enjoyed about that type of game too much in Arcade.
Oh, and draw in the whales. And draw in the whales.
Well,
What about the worst thing in MMORPGs? Like, you put up with it because you do like the genre, Yod. Like, what is I really wish MMOs would stop doing this?
Some of the like the early parts of Final Fantasy 14 really got to me. I try, like, early on, I tried it a bit on PlayStation 4, and it just really didn't appeal to me with how much running around there was. Like, I enjoyed getting your stuff, going out, doing the thing, and coming back. But it was like, go do this here. Okay, did the thing. Then you got to come back for the next section and come back for the, and in the distance, like, that running around a New World that Troy likes.
If we could just take all of that out.
Some traveling is good. You got your random encounters and stuff. But if you got to go all the way to the other side of the continent, come all the way back, just to go all the way back over there and not to a different point or anything, it's a little grindy.
So more, you hate the padding that comes with an MMO.
A little bit, yeah,
like whether that be farming up a bajillion rat tails, whether that be a long walk here and there. But isn't that like what makes the world feel a little more real, right?
The long walks, sure, those were a bit okay, because you got to see the scenery. But yeah, like you were saying, the 20, 40 rat tails, get 5 of them, you're good. You don't need, double.
And all the rats don't even have tails. Like, only some of them drop.
Random drop rates of these items that you need.
How did this rat not have a tail? How did this one not have a tail?
Right? And then of course there's, some other dude doing the quest as well, which you can't beef him for that because he's doing the quest as well. But the spawn rate then, isn't right, and the little tweaks that need to be done early on annoy me sometimes.
From chat, Tori the Chicken says, I didn't know there was going to be a second Arcade. The first one was so good, but crashed so bad, I thought it had no fans left. Yeah, there is. We've check out mmobomb.com. There's multiple articles about how the development of Arcade is going and things like that. Shirak chiming in on things MMOs need to not do like the way they do anymore. Shirak saying limited inventory space, Troy.
Oh, God, yes.
I know that would be one that Jason Winter would chime in full agreement with you. I mean, obviously it's a technical thing in a lot of respects, right? On one side, since the inventory is stored on the server side, they have to limit it a little bit, but then also it's used on the monetization side in most games to just try and force a cash shop sale or two these days. What is the thing you wish they would stop doing, Troy? MMOs in general.
I wish if there was a subscription or an optional subscription that it gave you everything and that you could earn everything in the game if you were paying that subscription. All these subscriptions with heavy-handed cash shops on top of that are absolutely driving me crazy. ESO is one of the worst offenders of that.
Yeah, Q.
Their cash shop is horrendous.
Q wrote an article. I think it was a day or two ago. I'm going to pull it up while we talk here. It was yesterday, and it's Elder Scrolls Online is giving away a free trial of ESO Plus right now, so you can have ESO Plus running from today or yesterday until I think August 3rd. So like sometime next week, you get a free trial of ESO Plus. You don't need to put a credit card on or anything. And, our headline was just The Elder Scrolls Online kicks off free trial of ESO Plus. And so I was like, yeah, that headline, that's not going to cut it for me. And so when I proofread the article, I added a comma. So it says, The Elder Scrolls Online kicks off free trial of ESO Plus, comma, probably so they can sell you on the crafting bag. Because that's exactly what it is. Exactly what it is.
Oh, God. I hadn't even thought about all the cash shop stuff.
Yeah, and I mean, it's kind of unfair to pin that directly on MMOs, right? It's on all games as a live service. And hell, even some single-player games try and jam in, like, season passes and shit these days. I don't like, in MMORPGs in particular, when they try to jam in a season pass. Ironically, I know, Troy, and maybe you could chime in on this, it's been very, very good for New World. When they added a season element to it and content and stuff, as far as getting players back and getting players excited about what might be coming in the next season of stuff. But generally speaking, while it may work for that game, and you can tell me if it actually does or not, it does seem to bring players back continuously. I don't like the idea of like season passes in MMORPGs. I'm kind of with you, and I've always said this for years. You want every game to be free to play until you find the ones you like, and then you wish it had a sub.
Yep.
That I've always said that for years and years.
Earn it all.
Does the season help New World? Because honestly, I've always felt like it was just like shoehorned into MMOs.
Yeah, to me, it is a little shoehorned, but it does bring folks back. You can just look at the player numbers on Steam, and it's real easy to see the correlation between season passes coming out and player numbers going up. So I will have to say that so far it has been a good thing for the game, for the player population at least.
Yeah, I mean, just thinking back, like all these MMO, if I'm going to play Elder Scrolls Online, I sub up. If I'm going to play SWTOR, I sub up. If I'm going to play World of Warcraft in a I'm not boycotting Activision moment, obviously I have to sub up. If Final Fantasy 14, I always sub up. Like I'm trying to think of the last MMORPG, and maybe you guys can think of one first, that was free to play, that you dove in and played for an extended period of time, couple weeks, month, or whatever, and weren't like, okay, I'm going to go play SWTOR with Troy, so hold on, let me throw them $15 real quick. Even like when I played Neverwinter consistently, there wasn't a sub there, but I would just like buy certain items from the cash shop because it was like, nope, not doing all this stuff. And that's ironically why I stopped playing Neverwinter, because that's just a cash shop mess.
No.
But yeah, has there been one that you're like, hey, I don't mind their free-to-play model?
Star Trek Online.
You like their free-to-play model, even though it's very similar to Neverwinter and other Cryptic.
Yeah, it's cruising around and shooting things with my ship.
Tori, you've never subbed to any game.
Wow.
I think you like MMOs, but you have never subbed to any game. Troy, is there one that kind of does it that you're like, I could play this and not have to worry about it? Like ESO, I feel like I have to, because I actually do crafting, right? And Star Wars, just like, yeah, okay, no, we're gonna give you the money here and not put limitations on stupid things. Like, is there
Right.
one that you just, you actually do free-to-play right? Maybe Rift back in the day? Rift had a fantastic
Rift.
free-to-play conversion.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
forgot about Rift.
Yeah, I felt when they went from subscription to free to play, I felt well compensated for the time and money that I'd put in. They did a great job
Yeah, and the model was
that.
great initially.
Yeah.
And then it started to get chipped away at, and like the second tier of gear. You know, we didn't make the strongest gear available in the cash shop, but no, the second tier of gear and third tiers were always available in the cash shop, and then it has devolved now into what 6,000 different currencies for every damn thing.
Of course.
For me, I'd have to say Lord of the Rings Online is probably the best one now. They got a little
good
funky there
one,
for a little while. They got a little weird with their cash shop stuff for a little while, but they're back to like you get a mount for free now and all that stuff, like just for playing the game. So the last big 3-month chunk I spent in Lord of the Rings Online, I wound up subbing. But at the end of the day, I didn't feel like there was anything in the cash shop that I just absolutely, was missing out on or had to have to play the game.
And they've periodically done like free quest line dumps too. Where it's
Yeah.
just like go claim this huge bundle of all these extracurricular quests as well. And then EverQuest 2, I think it was, just recently put out 3 more of their expansions as part of the free package.
Oh,
so
nice.
they keep diving on that too. I guess that's one that I did spend a fair amount of time in, and I feel like I would still play EverQuest 2 today if I had friends that were playing it. There was a time, though, that I did sub to that game specifically because it put you on particular servers that were just like a little easier to do things on. Shirak saying enjoyed Star Trek Online, never paid anything. Right there with you, Yod.
Yep. I mean, there's you can piecemeal buy certain things. I mean, like, if you really, really want that, original Defiant, USS Defiant, which I did, so I did pay for that. But other than that, the subscription really didn't do anything for me that I couldn't just kind of go and do on my own.
I
Really,
always wanted to get into STO. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, but the ground combat is just so
the ground
clunky.
combat is very clunky. Normally, I went in, I'd log in or whatever just to play the little Borg specials that they did, because you're just flying around with a whole bunch of other people shooting Borg cubes.
Boy, you really sold that one, Yod. Flying around in space with a bunch of other people shooting at a cube.
They're Borg cubes. They shoot back. What?
They're
They
deadly.
They are.
One
They
of
also
the
have,
easiest things to render in 3D. Let's
yes,
go
it is.
blow it up.
Yes.
Blow it up. Hey, we're going to circle back to MMOs and what makes them great and what makes them not so great when we get down to the question of the week. But let's actually do a little bit of news here, taking you through some things coming up. First off, we've got Ubisoft. This is kind of like our odd news section. And this whole Ubisoft thing this week kind of has reinvigorated a discussion on digital ownership, whether that be on Steam or GOG or Epic Games, any platform or any company's platform. I'm echoing in, I think, your headset a little bit there, Jan. Ubisoft is apparently closing some active accounts. Now, there's a few reasons why most companies do this, so it isn't out of the ordinary that Ubisoft would do this. There are particular regulations, including overseas, like the GDPR, that require this type of maintenance, that you close inactive accounts to comply with different data protection and stuff like that. And there are other reasons that companies will do this. But what happened this week was a little weird in that people were posting emails saying, or pictures of emails saying that Ubisoft emailed them saying, if you don't click here and log into your account and do something, we're going to deactivate your account. And then they don't have access to anything that they actually purchased anymore. Now, Ubisoft told DualShockers, hey, that's not happening. If you bought stuff on Ubi Store, you aren't eligible to have your account closed. There are 4 criteria for closing an account, and one of those is that your account is ineligible for deactivation if you've made an PC purchase through the store. And while they can say that, Troy, that isn't what people's emails were saying.
Yeah.
And so it's still, kind of a question mark in the air, but where do you land on all of this? Like, I'm a physical goods baby because I like collecting certain things. But if Steam shut down tomorrow, I'd be out thousands of dollars of product if I had no way to play that, and I feel like I don't have any legal recourse, do I?
No, you don't, and that's the scary part. And it's so easy to buy digital goods. It's so simple, and you don't have to worry about the overhead of storing things or keeping up with things. But at the end of the day, if Steam goes under tomorrow, like you said, I'm out thousands of dollars of content that I've purchased, and unfortunately, there's going to be little to no recourse I can pursue for that. Because if they go under, they've got no way to deliver all those goods to me in a physical capacity.
Yeah, I would
make
hate
up
to
for
get that email, right? Steam is closing down. You have 2
Yeah.
months to download any products you have.
Anything.
Like, oh my God. Damina, we're going to have to go out and buy 70 terabytes of hard drive space, please. Like, this isn't going to work. Yeah, and it does also bring up the preservation aspect, which I know, Yad, is something that you like to examine a bit. The preservation of older games. There was a new report, I think, out this past week, too, or the week before, that 90% of games are dangerous, are on the verge of becoming extinct and not being able to be played anymore in their original forms. Of course, emulation exists, and that's a thing,
Right.
but as an official way of preservation,
Right, which
bit tough.
yeah, it's playing the original games with other little quirks and mistakes and stuff like that that the developers made over the years, developing it obviously, is a separate experience from something that's you can do emulated because the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game, if you can play it on the original Nintendo, it's a bit of a different experience because since I personally at this house that I live in don't have my original Nintendo or the game here. It's back in Michigan in my mom's house. I decided one day I was really nostalgic. I wanted to play it, so I found a version online that was just you could just log into a Java type program and
Right.
it just plays it. But it doesn't have that same feeling as the old ones. So and especially when the early days when games started going more towards digital downloads and stuff like that, it's just like with movies and stuff. There's a certain period of time that some of it just gets lost because it's not high definition enough for them to just port, but it's also not old enough to be considered classic. So people just kind of forget about it.
Yeah, we're
And
seeing
that's
a lot of
real-
challenges with old sprite stuff.
That yeah,
Right, where
so,
pixel stuff is getting a nice resurgence as far as getting remasters and 2.5 HD remasters or remakes now, particularly like Square Enix and stuff. But even Square has said, the sprite work is the stuff that we have a hard time bringing into a new era.
'cause
It's
you're
just
dealing
so
with different
time
coding language.
intensive.
Yeah, it's a different way to work with the programs and stuff because like you said, everything now is 2.5D or 3D. It's all polygons and stuff like that. It's a different language than what they were using with the sprites and stuff like that. And it is a real shame that it's so many games get lost in time, and you just can't find them anymore.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at least this is Ubisoft, right? Have you ever purchased anything
Ugh,
through
ugh.
Ubisoft's launcher?
No, I haven't. I think I
have
tried.
I have some stuff that they gave me for free. I'm pretty sure.
I think I do too. I mean, does it? So that would be the other thing, right? Like, Ubisoft is one of those stupid companies that no matter where you buy it, it forces you through their launcher.
Yeah.
That's what it was. There was an Aliens game, wasn't there? Where I was trying to play it on Xbox, but it shot me over to Ubisoft app, and I'm like, why am I?
Yeah, I remember doing a stream where I couldn't open Riders Republic, and I had that from the Epic Game Store because I think they had, like Troy said, I think they supplied me with a key or something like that. And yeah, we couldn't figure out why it wasn't launching, and it was because I had uninstalled the Uplay Store or the Uplay launcher from my system, and Epic Game Store was trying to ping that Uplay and start it up from there. So use the see. Tori lied to us. Tori subbed to Trackmania. Tori subbed to Trackmania. Level cap increase from 99 to 100 in Final Fantasy 14, by the way.
Yes.
And we also got a peek at a new tribe. I'm kind of getting bits and pieces. As if the world just wasn't awful, right? As if the world just didn't suck. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to tell you about this, but I'm going to tell you about it. So HoYoverse, a few weeks ago, it was probably about a month ago now, right, had sent over a press release saying that they were going to have like three or four different real-world events, like one in South Korea, one in Europe, one in the United States, and stuff like that. And they gave us the dates and times and locations for all of them. And they said, hey, if you want to cover it, don't put it up today. It's got to go up tomorrow after 12 noon Eastern. It had some type of embargo on it. No problem. Great. So the next day we put the article up. About 4 or 5 days later, I get an email not from my HoYoverse contacts. I get an email from somebody I don't know, from a company I don't know, claiming, he said jobs, plural, are being added to 14.
Yeah, I just noticed that.
Right, yeah, if you use plural. Oh, yeah, there it is. Multiple new jobs. Okay, so I get an email from this person I don't know, from a company I don't know, saying, hey, can you do me a favor? Look at this article, and it was the HoYoverse Genshin Impact live thing. And they said, can you please remove the location of where the United States one was being held. For security reasons, we want that to be private until, a couple days before the event or whatever their timeline was. And so I countered. I was like, so I emailed my HoYoverse contact, and I'm like, who the hell is this person? What company is this? They're saying they're involved in your thing. And then I reply to them saying, why do I have to take out the location when your site still has the location listed on it? Like, I can go to your website directly and find this information for the game. Yeah. And so it was like a 2-day back and forth where I just was like, no, I'm not taking it out until you take it off the site. Take it off the site. I'll know you're totally legit, and then fine. Yeah. Turns out it was just miscommunication between HoYoverse and the company that's assisting them. We did end up taking it out, right? And they ended up taking it off the site. And I thought it was kind of weird that they were like, yeah, this is a security risk. We would really like to, until this week, Troy, when Genshin's South Korean event had to be halted midway through following a bomb threat.
Man, that's unfortunate. That's really unfortunate. There's a lot of people who were looking forward to an event like that to have it ruined by somebody with a bomb threat. And obviously they had some kind of inkling that something was going on because they were starting to get all security heavy before it happened. All that occurred before the bomb threat, correct?
Oh, yeah. This was 2 or 3 weeks ago now at this point when they asked us to take the thing.
They had some sort of inkling that somebody was wanting to ruin something.
Yeah, where it was going to be in New York, because obviously being based in the United States, we mentioned that one and then provided a link to the other ones. Yeah. Somebody on Twitter claimed that there was a pipe bomb planted at the Olympic Gymnastics Arena or the KSPO Dome. And so boom, they shut down the event halfway through. It was supposed to be like a 3-day event, ended up being like a day and a half. 200 some attendees were removed. The place was swept for bombs. Nothing was found. And now South Korean police are trying to track down the people who made the threat. But unreal. Why Why
and
can't we have nice things?
right, and things are just now getting back to normal, so you can do stuff like that without heavy restrictions. Like next week when I'm out of town, I'm going to Gen Con. Like it's the first year without like heavy restrictions, like you have to wear masks the whole time and still stay 6 feet away and stuff like that. Like we're just now getting back to normal with stuff like that and being able to enjoy conventions and things like that. And then there's always somebody out there who's got to ruin it.
Yeah, people just can't let you have nice things.
No. Hey,
Gotta
Troy,
ruin
what's
it.
going on? Speaking of Ubisoft, they have a pirate game. Well, maybe at some point. But in case you don't want to wait for that one, there's somebody else making a case for a pirate MMO.
Yeah, there's a game called Plunder Scourge of the Sea, and they showed up on Reddit the other day, and they were asking people to take a look at what they had so far, where they were in the development. They were sort of getting close to ending like sort of the development of the core systems of the game and how the base of everything works. And so they were looking for ideas of stuff like, what are some of the superfluous stuff that you would like us to add to the game? What kind of stuff are you looking for in a game like this? What kind of things do you enjoy? And they were talking back and forth with tons of people on Reddit, and they're talking about building ships that like you start with like a little raft that can accommodate one player, but they've got ships that can accommodate 10, 20 players at a time in their game. And now it's very basic right now because there were people throwing out ideas like fishing in a pirate game. And he was like, yeah, that would be awesome. We're definitely going to look into adding that. So obviously they're still very bare bones at this point. If you haven't either, I'm sure they've thought about fishing, surely to God.
Yeah.
You get fished in every game, right?
But yeah, that was just it's just little stuff like that they were looking for, like ideas like what do you really want in a pirate game? And one of the top Reddit replies was fishing, and they were like, yeah, okay, this has become a popular reply. Let's talk about fishing, and they talk about fishing for a few paragraphs.
Yeah, check it out. We got it written up on MMOBomb, by the way, following the Final Fantasy 14 stuff. I know you fans, longtime fans, will probably want to know this, what it means. I don't know. Dig into it. Yoshi P's shirt for his presentation is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle shirt.
It is. I noticed that.
It's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles shirt. Okay. Let's finish up with some new games. This first one's an update, actually, to a game, Troy, we knew just very, very little about last week, and that is Stampede Racing Royale, the 60-person kart racing battle royale that both of us were like, I don't know how this is going to work, but I'm kind of in on it. So they're actually running a test right now. If you are watching the show live or you happen to catch it on YouTube later today, the Friday we're doing the show, there's a test running on Steam for, I think, through the weekend. So you might be able to catch it Saturday or Sunday. If you want to jump in, I think till August 3rd, but don't quote me on that. It's bare bones. Did either of you get a chance to jump in?
Yes,
No.
I played. Oh my God. No, it's got some bugginess to it right now.
And it's bare bones. It is bare bones.
And like there's some collision issues occasionally, not all the time, but there's some collision issues here and there. But overall, man, this might be the game I've been waiting a long time for if they're able to clean all that up and add some more to it.
So it's actually pretty fun. And it's bare bones. Like a home screen where you're gaining levels in currency that you can do absolutely nothing with right now. I mean, gaining levels does like automatically unlock different cosmetics. You're not like going to a shop or you're clicking on claims or anything. I actually didn't even know it was doing it. There was no indication that it was doing it. Like I went into and there was like 3 shirts or 3 heads for my guy. And then I went in after some races and there was like 12 available. Like it's generically unlocking things for you right now. You can't do anything with the currency. You can edit your guy. You can edit your cart a little bit. And then that's it. You can just play. The way it works, because we were a little like confused on how this would work. And I actually really like, Troy, the way they're doing this. Is think like Fall Guys, right? Where X number of participants make the next round. And so you'll do like a 2 or a 3 lap race, with 60 players, and the top 40 move on. And then you do another thing, and the top 20 move on, and then those 20 compete to see, who comes in first and who comes in 20th. So that's kind of the way it's rolling. It takes you through 2 different modes. There's just a race mode where you're just racing through the courses. You can pick up items, Mario Kart style, and use them. And then there's a battle mode. I literally have only seen the battle mode twice. It queues up the race mode more often than not in this, whether that's a testing thing or not. And I have a feeling it's right now because it's in testing, because there are a lot of bots. Like, every race I've ever joined probably ends up getting about 8 players and then 52 bots.
I was gonna say, I think about 6 players is the most I saw yesterday.
Yeah. And it is a small test for a game you've never heard of from a company that you might go, who? And so I get it, but I really hope, Troy, that this fills out, at launch. Because the core is fun. It's actually a lot of fun.
It looks like really amazing chaos.
It is. It is.
And you can go from first to last real freaking quick.
Real quick.
Do that.
Real quick. Because I was in first place for like half a lap, and then all of a sudden I'm 58th, and I'm like, what happened?
Yeah. Yep.
This type of game is really player dependent, though. I can see that.
Yeah, it really is. Like, it's kind of cute to play in a test, and you see a bunch of bots, and you're just like, okay, it's a small scale weekend test for a game nobody even knows is a thing.
Right.
We literally just heard the first thing about it last week, and all of a sudden it's doing a test. But it is one of those games that I feel like, Troy, could pull like a Fall Guys or Among Us. As soon as some streamers, high-profile streamers, catch it, I feel like it'll be okay. Like, it'll be okay, as long as they don't screw it up monetization-wise.
Yeah.
And
it does need tightened up, but the courses are cute as hell. And some of them are hard. Some of them are hard.
Some of them are hard. And like you, I actually never got any of the battle. I played, a dozen or more races last night because they're so quick and snappy from round to round.
Yeah, and it randomly picks whether you're going to race or battle. Like, at least in this test, you have no control over that. Battle mode is exactly what you think it is. It's an arena that has all kinds of obstacles, and you're just driving around wherever the hell you want, trying to earn points by blowing people up, hitting them with items and stuff like that. And then the top number of, 40 players in those points move on to the finals. And so it actually isn't a lot of fun, simply because there are so many bots. So I think that's kind of why they probably have the formula skewing towards race mode more often than battle mode.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely one worth keeping an eye on. Enjoy it far more than I thought. And then we've got another new extraction shooter coming, PvEVP type thing called HAWKED. This is by My.Games, so company you know of. Open beta is going to run through August 17th, starts on August 3rd, and it'll be free to play on PC via Steam. A console launch and PC crossplay with consoles will come later. But this one is another one that I'm kind of like, damn it, Troy. This looks like something I do want to give a shot to.
It looks like Fortnite is what it freaking looks like. Like,
It
not
does.
gameplay-wise, but the looks, the aesthetics of it, man, you talk about trying to look like Fortnite. Even like some of the text and stuff looks like Fortnite.
That style is very Fortnite.
Yeah. This is like an extraction thing. You're trying to find artifacts. You're part of a treasure hunting group. They say, that there's like puzzles and that type of stuff in there. Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah,
Like, because I feel like you could argue that there are puzzles in Fortnite. Like, there are certain doors that you need to do X to open. Like, I want more than that if the whole thing is going to be like treasure hunting.
Yeah, and but the PvP aspect of the PvPvE might get in the way of the treasure hunting aspect. I have a feeling like that is if it is more like Fortnite, as opposed to, because I think there is a slight distinction between a PvPvE and a PvEVP type situation.
Yeah, the distinction is the 2 letters are swapped. I don't know if you noticed.
Right. But like with if it's more the treasure hunting and puzzles aspect, I'm cool with that because like occasionally in Destiny I'll
Yeah.
play Gambit and stuff, and that's PvE VP.
Tori says Mike getting mad for being interested in the game he's covering. On brand. I'm not mad.
I
I'm just
mean,
like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, this does not. If you would have given me the written description, I would have been like, whatever.
yeah,
I probably would like the PvE portion of it, but then you're
Right.
adding another team in there. And then when I saw the videos and did some more reading, I was like, you know what? I'm really enjoying Exoprimal, which is basically this type of gameplay, right?
I was actually meaning to ask you about Exoprimal.
Exoprimal's dope. I have a key. Do you want one?
Sure, yeah,
It's
send it on.
yours. It's yours.
Thank you.
Troy didn't need it, so I'm gonna give it to you. So yeah, keep an eye out for HAWKED, August 3rd open beta, and then since you are a gamer coming straight from Street Fighter 2, Yod, what do you think of Riot's Project L, a 2v2 free-to-play fighting game? Now we've known about Project L for a while. We've reported on it multiple times, but the bigger news this week is that not only is this a 2v2 fighting game, which, okay, I've played Marvel v Capcom 2, right? Like,
Right,
I know how this works.
Right.
But you can also duo those teams. So you can have 4 players, each controlling one player of the tag team, which is a step away from most of these 2v2 fighters.
Right. I think that actually adds a very interesting aspect to it, because not only do you have to pick the right characters together, you have the added mystery of who who the other teammate is physically. And sometimes you can get a good combo that your friend might piss you off when you're playing these games because they might not do so well, or they might carry your team.
Yeah, and this is from Riot Games, so League of Legends, so now, and Nintendo. Hey, it's good to see you, Nintendo. I haven't seen you in a while in chat. Saying Riot releasing every genre under the sun except the MMORPG. Still waiting for more news on this. Troy, are you interested enough in fighters to give this a whirl, or is this just not your genre?
No, that's not for me. I've played a few in the day, but they don't excite me like that.
And finally, we've got one more beta kicking off next week. Like August 3rd is the day of closed and open betas. Ashfall is kicking off its North American closed beta next week on August 3rd. Hopefully, like I said in the article I wrote, the game has seen some improvements after the less than stellar reveal. My opening sentence is nuclear war started by rogue AI has rocked the land. You come out of your vault and need to find the core of creation, a mysterious MacGuffin that can supposedly save what remains of the world. No, we're not talking about a new Fallout game here. We're talking about Ashfall, the upcoming post-apocalyptic shooter MMORPG from NetEase. I don't hold out a lot of hope. Like, I'd love to be proven wrong on this one, Yod, but I don't hold out a lot of hope for this one. We've kind of been mocking and laughing it since we saw the, like, arcade bullet splash gunshot holes on the screen when it was shown off at on IGN back when it was revealed.
See, I didn't even see the reveal, so
it is NetEase, enough said, says Nintendo.
Right.
I don't have high hopes either, especially when you start off with, no, really, this isn't this is something else.
I honestly, when it was like I was reading the press release they sent over and it was like you emerge from your vault, and I'm like, man, you guys didn't even try to look different, did you?
See, at least
say bunker.
Yeah, bunker hole, Fallout, not Fallout, but shelter, cave. Caves are good. Use a cave.
Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. We'll see. Let's head over to the weekly bombs. I'm going to give a double bomb. Surprisingly, I thought it would be cute and maybe half an hour worth of fun or whatever, but Stampede Racing is actually a freaking ton of fun, and it is very, very bare bones. I'm very now excited to see what that team's going to be bringing out in the rest of Stampede. and I hope monetization doesn't ruin it. I really wanted Kart Rider Drift to be good, and it's okay, but it really didn't latch on to me. I think Stampede has a better shot at doing it. We'll see what the entire product looked like. This was a very, very limited test, but I'm going to give them a dub bomb for the test. Go ahead, Troy.
We've got a crossover. I'm also giving a dub bomb to Stampede Racing Royale for the amount of fun it showed me yesterday. Like you said, very bare bones right now. A little buggy in places, but it's it's a test. It's an early test, and I'm looking forward to see what they can do with it.
It is Ninja Pandas. It has controller support. I played with nothing but a controller.
Yeah, that's what I played with as well.
Go ahead, Yad.
Oh, originally I was gonna do some self-promotion thing about working on new webcomic project, but
well, you definitely can go for it.
Yeah, no,
you can do more than one. We run this joint. I don't know if you know.
Well, I started getting nostalgic over the years, and had a project from a friend that a long time ago we were working on doing a story about nerds at conventions and stuff, and over the years, I decided to pick it back up. So I'm doing character designs right now for all the different characters, and hopefully launching later this year an actual webcomic type deal.
Nifty. So if people follow you on Twitter there at Yacht Artworks, are you feeding info there?
Yes, I will.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Info there.
Not Twitter.
Not the platform formerly known as Twitter.
Right.
That's what I'm going to refer to it as.
Sorry, we're using our blue birdies for the foreseeable future. I'm not getting sued by Meta or Microsoft.
Yeah. Anywhere Yacht Artworks, I'll be promoting it. I'll probably be posting it up, revamping my personal website to reflect it. So, but other than that, you send me giving me access to Exo Primal, man. That's
yeah, I got you.
Highlight of my day.
I got you, boo.
Right.
The site that's very easy to mistake for an adult site. Yeah.
Yes.
Follow me on X. From Kitsuruha.
They can't trademark X Japan because there's already a ban.
Right. From Kitsuruha on YouTube. By the way, make sure you're leaving your weekly bombs and your question of the week answers in the comments on YouTube or on mmobomb.com or Twitter so that I can put them in the show notes for the next show. Very, very important part of the show. Without you, there is no back half of the show. I just end it. Kitsuruha says, love you, Magic Man. Wasn't expecting a full read for that rant. Oh, I had to read that rant last week. Q, you need some salad. I'll do my best. DeBomb, enjoying Cyberpunk 2077 more in this playthrough than when I tried before with tips from the streamer I ranted about with the controls previously. Nice. So last week you ranted about a streamer, and this week you're giving them a DeBomb because, well, the game you're playing a DeBomb for them giving you some tips. So I'm glad that you have come to terms and you have both mended fences. Go ahead, Troy.
Undead Rogue 99, A-bomb. I got COVID yet again. Third time's the charm, I guess.
Oof. 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 Go ahead, Yad.
The FTP channel first.
Yeah, so I had to put the first comment here because apparently you're new here, and we welcome you, but it's mounted. And if you need to know why, ask in the comments. One of the longtime viewers will certainly reply to you. CW Mobile CM says, companies have health insurance for necessary surgery. This is in reference to last week's topic about a transgender former employee of ZeniMax filing suit against Bethesda and ZeniMax, alleging discrimination and things like that, including medical stuff. Trans medical costs are a personal choice and are not intended by the company to be reimbursed. The law and contract may not be clear to legally enforce this. Similarly to women who get body augmentation, the company sometimes rather be racist, in this case transphobic, than update their rules and regulations. So generally speaking, though, you'd have to look at the individual insurance policy because there are companies that their medical insurance here in the United States may cover elective surgeries, whether that be breast augmentation, as you point out, or reassignment surgeries, or medications for those types of things. So while yes, you may view some of them as elective, and whether or not you view reassignment as elective or not, I think depends on how you view the mental health aspect of things. But setting all of that aside, there are insurances with companies that do pay for those. They aren't just excluded simply because they're elective. So without knowing the particulars of their insurance policy, I don't know if what you're saying is dead on or totally wrong because I don't have insurance through Bethesda or ZeniMax. But you are right that some companies simply don't cover anything they deem elective. And in those cases, yeah, that obviously wouldn't have been covered. Go ahead, Troy.
Takao says, A-bomb to Wilfredo for not putting the Still Worth Playing episodes out often enough. Good series. Do it more often, my man.
Yeah, so here's what's funny about that, and I'm sure I will tell him this. Can you give Tori wants to give another DeBomb to Trackmania? Only game so far I found long-term friends. Super trans welcoming committee or committee. Like Trackmania. Like, here's our trans welcoming committee. Bring in the cookies. No, it's welcoming community. Very nice to hear. I hear that it is the only game Tori has ever subbed to. So I'm just saying.
I heard a rumor.
I heard a rumor. There's got to be something good there. Wilfredo actually did an episode for Neverwinter. It was before so there is a new video up where he kind of reviews all the games that he has put on the show in the last year and just like talks about whether his opinions are still the same. Because like Lotro had a graphics update since that video and all those different things. And Star Wars is changing developers and all those fun things. And it's a really great video. Go check it out. But originally that was supposed to be an episode on Neverwinter. Wilfredo's normally very, very good about his editing and stuff. Like, I don't really have to get hands-on with his editing. Normally, it's just enough to say, you know, hey, at minute mark 4 to minute mark 7, your audio is too loud. You need to turn that down. And then he'll go and do it and re-render it and stuff. The Neverwinter episode must have gotten bounced back and forth about 4 or 5 times. It is by far the most bounced back and forth episode that he has ever done. And at the end of it, both of us were just like, I don't know if this can be saved. I feel like we throw this away, we do something else, and then we circle back. Because we kind of took the wrong approach to looking at Neverwinter. So you will get another episode soon. But in the meantime, there is a kind of year in review up on YouTube for you. Question of the week last week was, what's the worst MMO you've ever played and why? I don't know who put this comment up. It's on mmobomb.com. And I had the owner, I asked the owner to go look at the display name because I didn't know if there was just a site issue and your name wasn't displaying, or if you've somehow managed to make your name a blank spot, in which case, kudos to you, but we're going to fix that. They appear to have no name, and I'm not exactly sure why. But the answer was, oh man, the worst MMORPG I've played, so many to choose from, but here's one magicman might remember. Does anyone remember Echo of Soul? Yes. Yes, I do. The 2007 MMORPG that was released in 2013? I remember you had to buy a founder's pack to play this steaming pile of shit. 5 classes on launch, and they're gender locked, of course. I downloaded and played the game and uninstalled it that same day. I can lump this game in the same category of many generic Korean MMORPGs, but I actually played this one, sadly. And surprisingly enough, I think this game is still around somehow to this day. I can't fathom how. I do remember Echo of Soul. I do remember doing the first look video for it. I'm pretty sure it was the first look video. If not, I had streamed it, but I'm pretty sure the first look is me on this one. And it is generic in every way it could possibly be generic. Yes, it is still around. It has changed publishers about a dozen times. At one point, it was closed, and then the Blue Potion version of it came to the West, which was just somebody else picking it up. Then it got picked up again. Right now, it is controlled by Papaya Play. You can still play it. And if you know anything about Papaya Play, you know that's where MMOs go to just survive in maintenance mode. So, yeah. Papaya Play. Go ahead, Troy.
Sujet. I had to Google early 2000s Korean MMORPGs to remember this name. And it was Cal Online, a
Oh,
2004
man.
MMO with all the bad things you'd expect. Endless grinding of the same mobs or the same mobs but different color or size. Armor breaks when upgrading and lifeless world. I played it for way too long because you would pay $12 per month to play WoW. After trying every terrible free MMO there was at the time, I did eventually start World of Warcraft.
Wow. Cal Online. There's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Yod.
I'm gonna butcher this name.
Kitsuruha.
Itsuruha? Is that what was it?
Kitsuruha, yeah.
Kitsuruha. Okay. Honestly, can't remember. So many bad games have killed my brain.
Yeah, I feel
You
like
and
I
me
might be
both,
in that
sir. You and me
same
both.
Mr. Abomination. And I know that's like a play on Abomination, but I'm going to be honest, when I put it in the show notes before, I was like, I'm going to read that as Mr. Abomination. Like, just totally make it ours. Give it an A-bomb. For the question of the week, I was going to say Bless Online, but that feels like a cop-out. It is. It is. The worst MMORPG I ever played is EverQuest. I joined in during the Planes of Power expansion and stuck with it far too long. EverQuest was bad because back then we didn't have good internet connections or good computers. Playing a dated MMORPG at 10 to 25 FPS on dial-up is some of the worst experiences you can have.
Oh my god.
This has never really been fixed either after 23 years, even on modern hardware and with faster internet. Even with outdated graphics, gameplay, and design, quest design, I think EQ could go from an F-tier experience to at least an A-tier experience if it ran more like WoW does. Man, that just brought back so many memories. Just brought back so many memories. Go ahead, Troy.
Foverisk says, question of the week, repels, hands down.
Yeah, that was always a weird one. I tried that very, very briefly. Go ahead, Yod. Finish it up.
Undead Rogue 99.
Oh,
Yeah,
hold on. Troy, plug your ears. Plug your ears, man. Oh, too late. Go ahead, Yod.
Yeah, I know I will piss a lot of people off now, but the worst MMO I have played is Guild Wars 2. Hold on. I am seeing a lot of pitchforks here, but let me explain. The graphics are beautiful, the world is cool and all. I did enjoy playing it. For me, it was a good game, but a bad MMO because I have never really played with other people. The system where you you join others in quests and get rewards is great in theory, but I have never socialized with others in in this game. Never had talked to someone or had any reason to talk to. Never joined a guild. Ironic considering the game's name. And overall, it was a very lonely time for me. If I had a friend who had played with me, my verdict could be totally different. I am still seeing a lot of pitchforks, so I gotta go. I agree with him on this, but not on Guild Wars 2 specifically, but on MMOs in general. Because one of the great things about MMOs is playing with other people. And if you don't have other people to play with, it is a very, very lonely game.
By the way, on the 14 side of things, in system updates, 2 dies per pieces of gear now. 2 dies when they do the whole system updates thing. Question of the week this week, just like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, what is the biggest draw in MMOs for you? What keeps you coming back to MMORPGs? And what's your favorite feature and your least favorite feature? Let us know. Chime in the comments below. Don't forget your weekly bomb while you're there. Bomb for something good, A-bomb for something bad in the world of gaming or just life in general. Tori wants to give, or says, didn't answer this question, but I played every perfect world entertainment game up to 2013. I think most of them are or were really bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's going to do it for us. We'll be back next week with another episode of Always Online. Yad, thank you so much for sitting in today. Where can everybody follow you, my friend?
Anywhere that says Yada works on out there, and Gaming Gumble and Ready Check Radio. And if you invite me back here, I'll be back here.
Sounds good.
Whatever.
Troy.
As confused as I am as to what social media platforms are what nowadays, if it's one that you like, and I'm on it, it's at Noob Fridge.
Just click search. I don't know. Click search. I'm Mike Byrne. You can follow me on Twitter. Yeah, it's Twitter. Down there at magicman1. But more importantly, follow at MMOBomb so you'll know every time we go live with a podcast, stream, or more. Stay safe, and we'll see you on the servers. Later.